When you look through NBA history at the greatest duos to have ever played, Wilt and Jerry West, Oscar and Kareem, Magic and Kareem, Shaq and Kobe, what do these duos have in common? It is one superstar guard and one superstar center. And now, the Philadelphia 76ers have added James Harden to play with Joel Embiid. The 2018 MVP, 2018-19, and 20 scoring champ is now playing with the 2022 MVP frontrunner, who was also second in the 2021 MVP race. Holy cow. Now, it may be too soon, hell, it is definitely too soon, to say that this duo is going to reach the phenomenal heights of the other players I named, but I don't think it's too much of an overreaction to say that this is the best duo in the NBA right now. And that's no disrespect to any of the other great duos in the league right now. You've got LeBron and AD, you've got KD and Kyrie, if Kyrie ever plays again, you've got Kawhi and Paul George, if either of them ever play again. I mean, there's a lot of great duos in the NBA at this moment, but a superstar guard and a superstar center is the most proven winning formula in the history of the NBA, and the Sixers now have that duo. I am so freaking excited to see these two guys play together. In case you didn't see my reaction video to the trade the other day, I'm still hyped. It feels like a dream. We, as Sixers fans, alright, like me and my fellow Sixers fans, in case those of you who don't feel too bad, it's stressful 90% of the time, but we have waited so long. We waited through Brett Brown's coaching, his awful coaching. We waited through Jerry Colangelo being a moron. We waited through Elton Brand being a bad GM. And now finally, Daryl Morey is going to finish the process that his boy Sam Hinkie started. I am so freaking happy. I don't think it is unreasonable whatsoever to say that the Sixers are legitimate title contenders right now, and to say that there is a very, very real chance they could win an NBA championship either this year or next year, while James Harden and Embiid are both under contract. James Harden has the option to walk summer 2023 when he signs that $47 million extension, which he is going to. He's already discussed it with Daryl Morey. They just couldn't do it because of trade clauses and stuff, but he's going to sign it during the summer. I'm so freaking happy. I can't wait to see these dudes play together. And I've seen a lot of people, let's talk about the fit, shall we? I've seen a lot of people criticize this fit for multiple reasons, and I would like to go over some of those right now. First of all, people say that Harden is a ball hog, and I think that is very overblown. Yes, he is a phenomenal ISO player who takes a lot of shots, but number one, he's very, very good at that. This isn't Russell Westbrook out here who just takes a bunch of shots to take a bunch of shots, you know? Another player I could name would be Jason Tatum this season, or Karis LeVert. This is prior to this season, and he has struggled with efficiency, but he's been injured, and he's been out of shape, and he hasn't given a crap. So I am willing to hold out hope and say that he can get back to at least 90% of what he was the last year he was in Houston, which was a legitimate MVP candidate. Alright, a clear top 10 player. If he goes back to that dude, I don't think him taking a lot of shots would be a bad thing, and I really don't think that his inability, so quote-unquote inability to fit with another star, is legitimate. You look at him in Houston at first, in the Mike D'Antoni system. He played with Chris Paul and a bunch of role players. Well, obviously he's going to take a lot of shots with a bunch of role players, and Chris Paul is, and always has been, a pass-first player. Right now, on the Suns, he's averaging 15 points a game. He has never been a dude who takes a ton of shots. James Harden had to be the guy taking those shots. He played with Russell Westbrook. He took a little bit of a step-back role, let Russ do his thing. He played with Kevin Durant. He took a little bit of a step-back role. He's been leading the league in assists and letting Kevin Durant do his thing. Now he is with Joel Embiid, who is the second best player, at the very least, who James Harden has ever played with. And he is by far the best big man who James Harden has ever played with. Their games complement each other phenomenally. Embiid and Harden both draw so much gravity, getting the other player good looks. You can't double one of them without the other one becoming a monster of a threat. like they aren't already one-on-one. Embiid is going to get Harden open looks on the perimeter. Harden is going to get Embiid open looks in the post. He's a phenomenal passer. He's going to get Embiid really good shots right under the rim. And in case you've never seen Joel Embiid play, if that man is within 5 feet of the basket, it's already over. It is already a foul or a bucket. Ask Jared Allen, who Embiid made his son earlier tonight with a 40-point triple-double, first in Sixers history since Wilt Chamberlain, by the way. It's been a crazy night. I think they're going to fit just fine together, and for the terms of, oh, well, they're not going to get along, they each want the ball so much, Harden passes a lot, he's shown that he can take a step-back role, and Embiid has said for years, he just does what he can to win, and I think we've seen that. He stepped back to let Ben Simmons do his thing, and Ben Simmons just wasn't man enough for it. He just couldn't do it. This season, Embiid has taken over because he has to. I don't think he gives a crap about only averaging 27 points a game when he's playing with James Harden. I think Embiid will have absolutely no issue with that whatsoever. You talk about the pick and roll, people have said Embiid's not much of a pick and roll guy. Well, you look at the players Embiid has played with. His main ball handlers for the first 3 seasons of his career were Ben Simmons and TJ McConnell. Not great pick and roll ball handlers, because neither of them can shoot threes, and one of them specifically is TJ McConnell. So Embiid's going in, you even look at him this season, you see Seth Curry or Tyrese Maxey, or Tyrese Maxey does it decently, but Seth Curry especially, or Danny Green sometimes, on the pick and roll with Embiid. They start to drive into the lane. Basketball Breakdown talked about this the other day, by the way, and he did a much better job of it. You should check out his channel instead of mine if you really want the breakdown on how this fit works. But they start to drive in, and they don't put any pressure on the rim. They just stop as soon as they get around the pick. And so Embiid is stuck there in the mid-range. With Harden, he is going to draw 2 defenders to him and get Embiid all the way into the paint. He's also still able to shoot those great mid-range shots. He can do a lot of things. These two can play off of each other so freaking well. I am so excited to see them play together. And next to them, we kept Tyrese Maxey. The Sixers kept Tyrese Maxey, who is very possibly going to be a future All-Star one day. I think he could really learn from James Harden. I think that they are a great pairing together in the backcourt. Defensively, yeah, it's a little sus, but we also kept Matisse Thybulle, who just had 6 steals tonight, and it's going underrated because Embiid had a 40-point triple-double, which is fair. Dude is probably a future Defensive Player of the Year. He's possibly the best perimeter defender in the NBA right now. They kept those dudes. Tobias Harris, yes, he's overpaid, but he's been playing like an all-star lately, and now he finally gets to be the third option he was always meant to be. Ben Simmons was always supposed to be the number 2, and Tobias Harris was supposed to be the number 3. Now, Ben Simmons was too busy crapping his pants to fulfill that role, so instead Tobias Harris had these expectations placed on him. We wanted him to be the number 3 option, or the number 2 option, sorry, when he was meant to be a number 3. He's meant to be a good 18 points a game. He is not meant to be scoring 25 points. That's what we needed from him. It is not what he does. Well, now we have James Harden in that role, and he's going to get Tobias Harris easier looks too with his gravity and his great passing. This team is going to look really freaking good. This is an amazing starting lineup. They kept Thybulle. They've got Embiid, who's also going to have less offensive pressure now, which means he can do more on defense. I think this team's going to be fantastic on both ends of the floor. The bench is not amazing. They need to sign some kind of backup center reasonably, maybe Enes Kanter or Enes Freedom, whatever you want to call him these days, just to get some rebounding out there. I like Paul Reed, but I don't think he can do it full-time just yet. But you got Georges Niang, Danny Green off the bench, Shake Milton just came back, and he's looking good again. This is a decent enough bench with a phenomenal starting 5. You've got 2 superstars, 1 borderline all-star, and 2 very, very good young players. This is a championship team. Now, maybe they don't win one. I can't guarantee they will win one, especially not this year. Chemistry is a thing, and they haven't had any time to play together. But for the first time in a long time, the Sixers look really freaking good. They look like a legitimate championship contender for the first time since Jimmy Butler was on this team, really. And people seem to like make fun of the Sixers. Oh, they haven't made it past the second round. They lost in 7 to the championship team in 2019. Like, they were literally 1 shot away from winning the title that year. You can say what you want about, it's a what-if. Rusty Buckets can cry all day about how we shouldn't go over what-ifs. If Kawhi misses that shot and the Sixers win that series, they win the NBA championship 100%. If the Warriors still get injured like they do. They had the Bucks. They were going to beat that injured Warriors team. they were going to win the championship, and now they have the chance again with James Harden. I think this was an A-plus trade for the Sixers. I think this was an A-plus trade for Daryl Morey. You gave up as little as you possibly could to get a legitimate superstar and the best player Embiid has ever played with. I think it's going to be great. I'm super excited to see James Harden play, hopefully on Tuesday. The Sixers are moving up in the standings right now. They have a real chance to get at least the 2 seed, assuming everyone besides the Heat stop winning every single game. They just beat the Cavs without James Harden. This team is going to be amazing, and it's good to be a Sixers fan right now. After a really long season, it is good to be a Sixers fan right now. Thank you, Daryl Morey. Trust the process.